Well, welcome everyone to the Public Safety Subcommittee. We're going to start off with call to the public. I like to call this meeting order and go straight into call to the public. I believe we have about 14 cards.
Yes, Chairman, you're correct. Our first speaker is Patricia Pagalucia. Patricia, are you on the line? I'm sorry, she's not on the line. Our next speaker is Camille Johnson. She is also not on the line. Our next speaker is Hannah Heyman. Hannah, are you on the line? They're also not on the line. Our next speaker, Samuel Merton. Samuel, are you on the line?
I am on the line.
Please proceed.
This year, officers have threatened to shoot the mayor. They've had a racist Facebook group. They're on video beating assaulted individuals. They have shot and non-violent protesters with rubber bullets, leaving their bodies scarred for life. The police chief has lied about how protests were covered and claimed they provided a safe environment, while also allowing cops on the Brady list to be on the protest team and shoot at people just standing across the street. And now we're finding out about this racist neo-Nazi challenge coin that the heads of the department knew about for 3 years. And this has all been in less than 12 months' time. And doesn't even mention all the people shot and killed by Phoenix police since these marches began. Saying that just going to be another investigation is not enough. We need real accountability. Officers need to be fired. Department heads need to resign. All of the community programs that the police department is trying to do, those need to be dissolved. We don't need police playing baseball with at-risk youth. We need to cancel that program. We don't need police talking with crisis assistance networks. We need to cancel that program and bring in a huge side program that's like in Oregon, where you actually talk with communities most at risk from police. We need a system where police do not investigate police. You need to revise the OAT legislation so that there are independent investigations like were promised years ago. We need a system where police do not have unlimited funding and no accountability. Jerry Williams said that police are to be held to the highest standard of excellence. That had to be a joke because that's not what's going on in Phoenix, Arizona.
Our next speaker is John Luther. John, are you on the line? I'm sorry, he's not on the line. Our next speaker is Angeles Maldonado. Are you on the line?
I am on the line. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Dr. Maldonado. I am the CEO of Ibarra Maldonado Law Group, and I was the legal observer for most of the summer during the demonstrations. And I wanted to come on here, though I know I'm likely wasting my time, but I still think that it's important that I voice incredible concerns about, first of all, that the idea that there's not even, like a task force or even a section to discuss everything that has happened, all the trauma that has been inflicted on our communities by the Phoenix Police Department. And I wanted to first create some context and remember why people were out in the streets in the first place. People were out in the streets, let me remind you, because the police across the nation has been killing Black people. And we are sick and tired of observing it and being bystanders and being complicit to this absolute disregard for human life. And I want to let you all know that this city council is responsible and has blood on their hands for all of the people that have been killed by Phoenix police and continue to be killed. Now, I know there's going to be other speakers and hopefully they bring up about the coins and the racism and all of that, but all of that stuff is stuff that we already know. We have known this for years. We know this, that this Phoenix Police Department is racist, and all of you are responsible for upholding white supremacy. And the fact that you're doing absolutely nothing about it is disgusting. What needs to happen is you all need to drop the charges on all of the people who were out in the street. All they were doing was literally just standing in the street demanding the Black Lives Matter. And that's a reason for you all to go out in full force, attacking people with violence, like literally hunting people. Police were running in the streets. I watched this, I recorded this, and I saw so many abuses, human rights abuses.
Our next speaker is Ray Ibarra Maldonado. Ray, are you on the line? I'm sorry, he's not on the line. Our next speaker is Jamar Williams. Jamar, are you on the line? I'm sorry, he's not on the line. Our next speaker is Alina Maves. Alina, are you on the line? Okay, she is also not on the line. Our next speaker, Laurel Langmaid. Laurel, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Please proceed.
Okay, my comments are not against the police, but they are the result of the discussion at the last City of Phoenix Council meeting regarding the increase of beds at the Human Service Center and making the Andre House a low barrier shelter. I want to thank you for not allowing that to the low barrier shelter to happen. And this should offload the police in the area of the Madison Pioneers Coalition neighborhood. Being that you're public safety, I hope that you take the homeless situation under your wing and recognize the strategy that no one city or neighborhood bears the brunt of providing shelter services for individuals experiencing homelessness. But I was a bit dismayed at one councilman who was vocal about having the low barrier shelter, saying we should try something new and different. Putting the shelter at another shelter at the Human Service Center is not something new and different. So I have some ideas and suggestions so that it's keeping the city's plan that no one bears the brunt of a homeless shelter. How about the Andre House be a temporary overnight storage for individuals who have too much stuff and can't get entry into the Central Arizona shelter for night? How about have the Andre House be a temporary overnight kennel for animals that prevent entry for their owners into the CAS? How about getting the drug dealers off the street? The dealers prey on the homeless individuals and pick on those that, well, let's see, it would be nice to have steps to keep the drugs out of the zone. Long term, wouldn't it be great if you could make the area drug free? How about having an area for, if you really wanted low barrier, there was one woman, Ash, that talked about people that, well, they can't get into CAS because they have disabilities and they need routine medical monitoring, such as people with diabetes. How about opening small shelters, more like group homes around the city of Phoenix?
Hello, I believe Jamar Williams has connected now. Jamar, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Thank you for the time. The name of this committee is the Public Safety and Justice Committee. What we've recently seen is evidence, direct evidence, that the police do what we've seen them do all along. Take joy in the violent abuse and predation of our bodies. This is a recent quote I came across regarding challenge coins. These law enforcement challenge coins often embrace the unpolished side of the warrior cop ethos. The violence, racism, and impunity that have sparked our current reckoning with the American police culture. The name of this committee is the Public Safety and Justice Committee. In order to live up to that name, this committee should do something to address these concerning and vitriolic behaviors by the Phoenix Police Department. Councilman Nowakowski, in a conversation I was part of, you invoked the great name of Cesar Chavez, a name my own family reveres just as much as yours. What do you think he would be thinking about your inaction to address the violent nature of police behavior in our city, the racist and white supremacist nature of police behavior in our city? This is a problem that has gone too long without being appropriately addressed. Year after year, the city of Phoenix has let the police themselves, has let the police investigate themselves, has let the police claim that they're addressing their own problems. And year after year, we've seen continued violence, continued racism, and continued unaccountability and transparency. We have to address this in a manner that provides real justice and real public safety for the citizens of Phoenix. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Marcus Reed. Marcus, are you on the line? I'm sorry, he's not on the line. Our next speaker is Jonathan Bowe. Jonathan?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
I just wanted to comment and say that you need to drop the charges immediately to protesters. Slapping gang charges on them is just borderline unacceptable. I mean, you're just making up things at this point. If you want to charge them for initiating anything, I mean, you need to look inward because we weren't the ones that showed up with guns, tanks, and tear gas, you know? I just think that's really disgusting that y'all are doing that. And then we just found out about the challenge coins, and I mean, it just furthers what we already know about the police is that they are white supremacists, openly passing around Nazi memorabilia to celebrate the abuses that they're doing to people here. I mean, it's just disgusting. And if y'all really take yourself seriously as a committee for justice and safety of the people, then you need to do something. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Tina Luna. Tina, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Please proceed.
Can you hear me? Thank you. Yeah, I also kind of shocked by the name of your committee is has justice in it, and I just wanted to ask, what have we learned from the ABC 15 reporting? We've learned that everything that Black folks have been telling us about the Phoenix PD is true. It's hard to accept. As a white woman with white privilege, it's easy for me to ignore Black voices. And I have ignored them in the past. I'll admit it. It's hard to admit it, but we don't even have to listen to Black voices to see the truth here. That reporting showed everything. It showed the cops lying on the stand. It showed how aggressive and violent they were at the protest. It was just really incredible. And what we learned is that we need to listen to Black voices. And if this report was about another city, we would be appalled. We'd be going, oh, look at them over there. But it's not another city. It's our city. And we have to fix it. We cannot just sweep it under the rug. Lives are being lost and futures are being stolen by these officers. They must be held accountable. The report shows that the protesters are not violent gang members and that the police are not here to protect and serve. All the charges against the protesters must be dropped today. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Amy Miglio. Amy, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Please proceed.
Yes, thank you. I am here speaking today from my hospital bed inpatient because I can't sleep at night. Because the committee that, with the exception of Carlos Garcia, and I'm sorry, I'm speaking off the cuff here. I'm ill. I can't sleep at night because we warned you, we begged you over the last year that these police were targeting protesters exercising their First Amendment rights. And as elected officials, I think that you should take the Constitution seriously and you should take your constituents seriously. And it should not have taken ABC 15 to have to go do digging and uncovering of grand jury, documents and scripts and digging through all this to prove what we already know and have been telling you guys. I mean, we elected y'all, right? You're supposed to be working for the people, and we live in a area that is highly Latinx. The number of BIPOCs, I mean, it is frightening to me, and I cannot sleep at night knowing that the so-called Committee on Justice cares more about the procedure for barking dogs than the fact you should have immediately wiped the whole schedule for today, and we should be talking about the fact that we know that Sergeant Moore, who has over 30 community members and friends of mine on trial on trumped up enhanced gang charges, people looking at 30 years, when we know that these people are playing a political game. They're mocking to make a coin of a protester being shot in the groin. Are you kidding me? Good night, left side. I mean, even if we don't even look at the a priori neo-Nazi part of it, just the fact that these people are supposed to be working for us and protecting our constitutional rights, and they're making a joke of leaving somebody possibly unable to even, procreate. It's not funny. None of this is funny. And I can't sleep at night, and I can't get healthy knowing that my community members that are BIPOC I have to wake up and go to the store, not.
Thank you, and I believe Patricia Paglucia was able to connect. Patricia, are you on the line?
Thank you. Yes, I am. Good morning. It is another beautiful day here in the Valley of the Sun. And if you're white, you know that the neo-Nazis running the Phoenix Police Department are hard at work to keep you safe and quash any and all dissent from protesters who dare rise up and demand the justice that they absolutely deserve. Since the global uprising and the murders of George Floyd and Deion Johnson, where the demand was simple and the only logical response to stop the police from killing and caging Black folks, that we must defund the police. So today we're at this Public Safety and Justice Subcommittee meeting. You all showed up, and you think it's acceptable to have these random agenda items as the focus. So either you're completely unaware of the news that has finally broken publicly that Phoenix Police Department celebrates the violence that they perpetuate on the community and that they lie under oath to silence dissent, or you are aware and you don't even care enough to add this egregious, vile police activity to the Public Safety and Justice Subcommittee agenda. Where else are we supposed to talk about this? First, Chief Jerry didn't know the coins existed, then she did, then hate speech wasn't okay, then she'll investigate. What an absolute insult to your constituents who pay your salaries. Let me be clear, an investigation, an OAT or a CRB will not save Black lives. An investigation or an OAT will not change the toxic anti-Black white supremacist culture that is the foundation of policing. It cannot prevent cops from lying under oath to politically prosecute people who demand their freedom from this oppressive violence. The entire system is designed to destroy and oppress Black, Brown, and Indigenous lives. Phoenix PD must be defunded, and we demand that you all urge Maricopa County Attorney's Office to drop these false charges and political prosecution.
And our next speaker, I believe Hannah Heyman was able to connect. Hannah, are you on the line?
I'm on the line. Thank you for coming back to me. This subcommittee must do nothing before white supremacist cops are fired and all charges against protesters are dropped. Today's agenda is a mockery of the pain you and your killer cops have caused in our communities. Black community leaders have been in the streets for years telling you the violent Phoenix police are hopelessly infected with white supremacy, and you have sat in these little meetings and done less than nothing. Even after ABC 15's blistering report of blatant neo-Nazi challenge coins, the city is not even meeting the bare minimum. All of the anti-Black white supremacist cops involved must be immediately fired. We don't need an investigation to know that they're white supremacists. They came right out and they said it. You must also drop all charges against protesters. The false felony gang charges that were trumped up by these lying white supremacist cops need to be thrown out immediately. The city is complicit in violence against these brave people who have stood up to fight for Black liberation. And these obviously false charges should have never happened. And the rot goes all the way to the top. Chokehold Jerry Williams' job must be in question after reporting shows she knew about these coins for well over a year and did nothing. After cops were found to be posting in white supremacist Facebook groups, she did nothing. She is complicit in the brutality, and so are you by keeping her and all of her cronies on the payroll. Phoenix PD must be defunded and abolished. Drop all protest charges and fire all white supremacist cops today.
Chairman, that was our last speaker for public comment.
Well, thank you all for participating in the community call to the public. Next, we have
Chairman?
Councilmember Garcia.
Yeah, thank you so much. Matt, is Jamar Williams or Ray Barra on the line?
Mr. Williams was able to speak. We
Is
can
he still
check-
on the line? I wanted to ask him a follow-up question.
Oh, let me check.
Just a point of order, these are public comments, and we're not supposed to have dialogue. If you'd like, they can come in one of the agendized items during public comment, then they can talk at that time.
All right, thank you, Chairman.
What you could do is you can direct staff to basically attend to their issue, and then later on we can follow through with them if you'd like to do that.
Can I make a comment on the public comments?
I believe so. I'm not sure, but I believe so.
Chairman Nowakowski, Councilmember Garcia, I believe you are not supposed to comment on public comment as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so Bob Smith just confirmed that that is because of public meeting law. It's not posted for comment from council members, so.
Councilman Garcia, if you'd like to have a future agenda item on any of those issues or topics, you can suggest that at the end of the meeting. That'd be great.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll do that.
Alrighty. And then we'll go to the next item, item number 1, minutes of the meeting. There's 2 cards. I'd like to hear those cards first. Matthew?
Yes, sir. Our first speaker is Marisa Leyva. Marisa, are you on the line? Please proceed.
Yes. Hi. I must have registered under the wrong thing. I was calling in for the same reason everybody else was calling in. I'm pretty appalled that the recent ABC 15 investigation isn't an agenda item, but it seems like you guys kind of cleared this up. And it's a little ridiculous that Carlos can't even comment on the public outcry, but as long as it's going to be suggested as a future agenda item, which will not take place for an entire month after today, it's all ridiculous. But you know, you guys aren't going to do anything about it, so I yield my time.
Our next speaker is Brandon Valentin. Brandon, are you on the line? Brandon, please proceed. Chairman, it looks as if Brandon doesn't have audio currently, so that was the last speaker on this item.
Thank you, Matt. Motion to approve the minutes of January 13th.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. The next item is item number 2, the City of Phoenix barking dog compliance process. This is something that Councilmember Deborah Starks asked to put on the agenda. With that, we'll first go with the staff's report and then follow through with the 17 cards that we have on this item.
Good morning, Chairman Nowakowski, fellow council members on the Public Safety Subcommittee. I'm Bob Smith with the City Prosecutor's Office. I also have with me Caroline Nye from our office and Estevan Gomez from our office. As you said, we're here to give a summary of the barking dog process. Ms. Nye has a PowerPoint presentation that she will go through for you.
I'll start over. Good morning, Chairman Nowakowski and council members. My name is Caroline Nye, and I'm with the City of Phoenix Prosecutor's Office. Today, I'm here to present to you the City of Phoenix barking dog complaint process. Phoenix City Code Section 8-2 states, "No person shall keep a dog in the habit of barking or howling or disturbing the peace and quiet of any person." This is designated a Class 1 misdemeanor. However, the city prosecutor may authorize a civil violation unless the person has previously been found responsible or guilty of violating Section 8-2. The civil penalty is a fine from $150 to a max of $2,500. The criminal penalty is the same fine. However, it also adds 0 to 180 days in jail, as well as 0 to 3 years probation. There are some differences between a criminal and a civil violation. A criminal violation has a much higher burden of proof, which is beyond a reasonable doubt. In order to initiate a criminal charge, there must be a report that establishes probable cause. The prosecutor must rely on the petition and narrative, and there must be a reasonable likelihood of conviction. However, a civil citation has a much lower burden of proof, which is preponderance of the evidence. In that case, an agency or witness typically presents the case, and it is started with a civil citation. And again, the fine is $150 to $2,500. Currently, there is no investigative agency assigned to these types of cases. Therefore, the petitioner must establish the elements of the offense by the complaint. The facts must be established beyond a reasonable doubt that prove a person kept a dog within the city, allowed the dog to be in the habit of barking or howling, or disturbed the peace and quiet of any person within the city. Now, what should you do if you are a person dealing with a barking dog? First, the city provides a dog barking hotline, a phone number you can call in to get information, as well as from the barking dog hotline, the city will send information to the dog owner. Second, there is a City of Phoenix Law Department webpage, which has an information section that provides information regarding the barking dog complaint, information for the dog owner, and explains the process of filing a complaint. The Information Center contains tips on how to deal with the barking dog, information for the dog owner, a mediation recommendation, as well as the process for requesting a criminal complaint. Tips for the complainant include, first, how to talk to your neighbor, because communication is the key. It refers the complainant to the website, as well as explains the letter that will be sent from the city. Again, it recommends an attempt at mediation. Information for the dog owner contains information on how to monitor your dog to determine why are they barking, how to talk to your neighbors, to exercise your dog, to be mindful of the access your dog has to the outside yard, to avoid leaving a lonely dog alone, to not reward a barking dog, as well as different methods for training your dog, and again, to try mediation. Private mediation is available. This can be the best solution because it will be a mutually agreed upon solution that can be tailored to the specific individuals. It will hopefully address all concerns and lead to better outcomes. Currently, there is no city mediation available. Now, to begin the filing of a petition, certain information will be required. First, the identity of the owner of the dog, the date of violation, the address where this occurred, as well as including the petitioner's information. The petition will need to be signed by the complainant as well as 2 additional parties, one of which will have to have a different address. Also, there will be a requirement to keep a log. The log will need to contain the specific dates when the dog owner was notified of the disturbance, any attempts taken to resolve the problem, the specific dates and times when the barking occurred, and in this case, details are important. Evidence will also have to be provided. The evidence options are a video recording with a log, an audio recording with a log, as well as a detailed written log. In 2020, 28 cases were submitted to the prosecutor's office for review. Out of those 28 cases, 8 cases are currently pending investigation to identify the suspect. 7 cases were sworn in and filed with the court. 3 cases were furthered for additional evidence. 1 case was declined due to lack of evidence. 7 cases were returned to the petitioner due to an incomplete petition. And 2 cases are currently still pending review by a prosecutor. Now, of the 7 complaints that were signed, 1 case concluded guilty with a fine. 3 cases are currently still pending and set to pretrial conferences. 1 case was dismissed and sent back to the police to identify the correct dog owner. And 2 petitioners did not appear in front of the judge, so those 2 cases were not able to move forward. At this time, I'd like to open it up to any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much. We have 17 cards. If my colleagues wouldn't mind, we'll go straight to the cards and then go into council members' questions and answers. Alrighty, we'll go ahead. This topic is on the City of Phoenix ordinance on barking dogs complaint process. So as long as everybody stays on the topic, everything will go smooth. With that, Matt, it's yours.
Thank you, Chairman. Our first speaker is Vanessa DiCarlo. Vanessa, are you on the line? Please proceed. Vanessa, are you on the line? I'm sorry, it looks as though we may not be getting audio from Vanessa. Our next speaker is April McHugh. April, are you on the line?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Okay, good morning. This morning continues to get richer. Deborah Stark, I'm a constituent of your district, and I can't believe you've selected this agenda item to be on our agenda this morning. I can't believe the prosecutor's office is here discussing barking dogs when you have criminal activity happening right in your office. Do you know the difference between true crime and harm? You all love the silence. We're here discussing barking dogs so the residents of Moon Valley can occupy their second homes on a golf course in silence, while you stay silent on the fact that we have neo-Nazi activity in our police force.
Please keep your comments to
Demand
the
that you
item.
drop the false charges against
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jessica Spencer.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello, my name is Jessica Spencer. I'm a Navy veteran using my GI Bill to achieve a degree in social work. Now, do you hear the sound? Do you hear that? That's not the sound of dogs. Do you hear that? Those are the coins I earned during my military service. These coins carry a lot of
Please keep
tradition
your
and they're
comments
used
to
as
the
banter for
item
the
that's
Phoenix PD to
agendized.
encourage racist, violent.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jessica Spencer, and please keep your comments to the agendized topic. My apologies. Our next speaker is Elizabeth Venable. Elizabeth, are you on the line? I believe she is no longer on the line. Our next speaker is Tina Luna. Tina, are you on the line?
Yes, I am on the line. I'd like to know why this group is talking about barking dogs when we have citizens that are facing false charges brought on by white supremacist cops that are on the Brady list.
Tina, please keep your
Cops are
comments
lying
to
under
the
oath
item
to
as
pursue
agenda.
felony charges.
Our next speaker is Benjamin Lewis.
Matt, Chairman,
Yes, Council Member Betty.
yes, I'm sorry. The folks that are, I know that I have found it talking to a lot of my constituents that when they call in, for a certain item, it's been very confusing, and they sometimes call in for they don't know how to sign up for the right items. Folks that are not talking about the dog barking item, can we put them back into public comment so they can actually, because they've been waiting there for a minute, can we then put them so they can do their comments at the end? If I get it that we cannot, that we need to follow the order that we've always done, but can we put those folks back into public comments so that they can say their comments? Just because I know that I've had constituents that had found it confusing, and they have not been allowed to speak because they signed up on the wrong item. Do you think that's okay?
Chairman Nowakowski, members of the council, I would have to defer to whether or not the chair wants to do that. If the chair wants to open public comment back up, I suppose we could do that. And then we could have Matt ask every speaker that's listed for the item that they've signed up for, whether or not they want to speak on that item or if they would like to make a general comment to the public.
We do have a call to the public at the very end, right after the item for the withdrawal. So there's room there if individuals need to speak.
So what we can do is we can ask each speaker that is listed, that is remaining on item 2, whether or not they would like to be held in queue for the general call for the public, or if they'd like to speak on the item that we are technically on, which is the barking dog ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
Then Mr. Or Tina Luna, were you on the line, Tina?
Who did you call?
Tina Luna?
Oh,
Tina, were you wishing to speak on the barking dog ordinance, or would you like to be added to public comment at the end of the meeting?
I would like to be added to the comments at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Benjamin Lewis is our next speaker. Benjamin, are you on the line?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Were you wishing to speak on the barking dog ordinance, or would you prefer to speak at public comment at the end of the meeting?
You know, I have a lot to say about the barking dog ordinance, but based on what's happened at this meeting today, I would also like to comment on something outside of the barking dog ordinance. So I can keep it to barking dog right now if council prefers.
Thank you, please.
As long as I get a chance to. Okay, thank you so much. Hello, I'm here speaking today as a District 4 voter, a homeowner, and an active participant in my neighborhood. I love living here in Phoenix. I'm a proud Phoenician, encouraging my friends, family, and acquaintances to visit and move here. I'm an ASU employee, a small business owner, and an alumni of Carnegie Mellon University. My concern with this service is, how can I call on the city services if I don't know what kind of service member is going to show up? For example, I have 2 dogs. I do mediate with my neighbors. But let's say, for example, one of my neighbor's dogs is out of line. Can I be sure that the city won't send a neo-Nazi mediator to deal with the situation? Based on my trust issues of city services here, I'm finding it very hard to trust in the funding that we give to the city through our tax dollars and through our property taxes to go to services that actually serve our community. So far, it seems like a vast majority of the city budget is going to things that harm our community, whereas harm mitigation services are not being funded at all. So how can we expect that this service won't have embedded neo-Nazis, embedded harm, reversed charges, assault on the community? It's very hard for me to trust this barking dog thing when we see how poorly the city budget is being spent in general. And also, I have a couple questions for City Council, since this is the only time that we can ask them. First, City Council, do you mind that we have 100 officers who are on the Brady list? And will those officers
Sir,
be called?
if you could please keep your
Will those
comments
officers be
to the
called for
agendized
barking
item.
dogs? I would like to talk about barking dogs. Are
Thank-
the Brady list officers going to be involved in this barking dog issue?
Could we please move on to the next speaker? Mr. Martinez, are you on the line?
Oh, I am, but
Would you prefer
you were talking
to,
about the dogs, Hilda.
are you,
I would like to be moved to the public comment at the end because I don't support your unconstitutional law for dogs. I'd like to talk at the end, Hilda.
all right, thank you, sir. Helen Mendizabal is our next speaker. Helen, are you on the line?
Okay, I'll be right back. How are you doing, Jamie? Okay.
Helen, were you hoping to speak on the barking dog item?
Helen, do you want to speak on the barking dogs, or would you prefer to wait to the end for general public comment?
It looks as though we may have lost audio for Helen. We'll move on to the next speaker, Malik Shabazz. Malik, are you on the line?
I am on the line.
Were you wishing to speak on the barking dog ordinance?
Well, yes, I think that a good question to have regarding these barking dogs is we need to ask, why do these dogs bark? That is the core of the question. What is it that they want? More often than not, they are trying to communicate, to express a desire to be heard, because for whatever reason, their concerns are not receiving the attention that they deserve. And I'd like the rest of my comments to be reserved for the end with the rest of the pack.
Our next speaker is Michelle Mayer. Michelle, are you on the line? Michelle, yes, we can. Were you wishing to speak
Yes,
on the barking
I
dog
see.
ordinance?
Yes, I would like to comment the ridiculousness of this agenda item and the fact that we are not able to log any additional comments until the end, and the carelessness of even wanting the opinions of your constituents. As the Committee of Public Safety and Justice, it's imperative that you convene to have meaningful discussion and create action plans which involve the community you serve. Phoenix PD needs to be held accountable with independent review boards, not with other cops. They
Please
need to be
keep
held
your
accountable
comments
for
to
their
this item, or we
atrocities.
can add you to the end of the agenda.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Our next speaker is Avery McGinnis. Avery, are you on the line? I'm sorry, it appears as though Avery is not on the line. Our next speaker is Katie Gibson. Katie, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Did you wish to speak on the barking dog ordinance or be moved to the end of the agenda?
No, I was confused. I would prefer to speak during the general call to the public, please.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Estrella Alvarado. Estrella, are you on the line? I'm sorry, it appears she is not on the line. Our next speaker is Brandon Valentin. Brandon, are you on the line? Okay. Our next speaker is Gerald Heron. Gerald, are you on the line?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, were you wishing to speak on the barking dog ordinance or to be moved to the end of the agenda?
May I go ahead?
I didn't hear exactly what you said, but if you're wishing to speak on this item, please proceed.
Yes, can you hear me clearly though?
Yes, now I can.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So first of all, thank you, Councilwoman Stark, for bringing this. Thank you, Bob Smith, and especially Caroline Nye. You know, unfortunately, what it is, the burden is still placed on the plaintiff, not on the defendant. So one of the requirements is to talk to your neighbors. Now, Phoenix PD are recording the rise in domestic violence, and as a neighborhood association and block watch lead, I find that when I'm on a neighborhood patrol and I see an adult that's doing something wrong, dog off leash, allowing their dog to defecate and urinate in other people's yards, the reaction is hostile. And the case that I did actually get to court, 3 times I spoke to that woman. I recorded with a video. She was angry. She shook the cages of her carport. She gave me a double, middle finger salute. She then went, when she was subpoenaed, she went around the neighborhood petitioning the neighbors and maligning me. She brought 12 character witnesses to prove, I don't know what character witnesses is to do with barking dogs. And there were people there that I had never met who came angry because I was filing a barking dog petition. And one of those witnesses was so hostile that he was required to be escorted out of the court by Phoenix PD, and myself and my 2 witnesses were asked to stay inside the court for safety until that person left. So to be asking us and requiring us to go and talk to a neighbor, I think has lots of problems. The fact that you need 3 witnesses is ridiculous. And my case didn't proceed because the prosecutor, and this is no fault of the prosecutor, I think she did a great job, was that she didn't feel that she could prove on that day, on that hour, on that minute, that
Our next speaker is Anisha Groves. Anisha, are you on the line?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Did you wish to speak on the barking dog ordinance item?
Please put me at the end in the public comments. Thank you.
Chairman, that's the last registered speaker on this item.
And Chairman Nowakowski, I'll let you know we do have 42 written comments as well. However, most of those comments do not pertain to the barking dog ordinance. They also relate to police issues.
Thank you so much. Is there any comments or concerns from my colleagues? Seeing none, this is basically information and discussion only. We'll go to item number 3. Chief, the floor is all yours.
Good morning, Chairman Nowakowski and members of the subcommittee. I'm Executive Assistant Fire Chief Scott Walker, and joining me today is Captain Cody Worrell and Firefighter Paramedic Garrett Schoenmorton. Garrett and Cody have been key members of the fire department's team working to implement our electronic patient care reporting system, or EPCR as we call it, into the fire department's business. So as a reminder, the EPCR is the modern solution for the fire service to document and capture patient care that we provide to our community. Simply put, an EPCR system is going to improve upon what we do today and add new benefits that we simply don't have. Our goal today is to provide the subcommittee with really an overview of the implementation as well as a demonstration as best we can in this virtual world so that you can see what our EPCR will look like and how it will function. So with that, I am going to turn the presentation over to Captain Worrell to provide you with that demonstration. Cody?
Thank you, Chief. Good morning, Chairman Nowakowski and committee members. Before we start, I'll give a little context to the service. Yes, it is. As to what the Phoenix Fire Department provides. As we all know, the Phoenix Fire Department is a all-hazards fire department that provides service for 517 square miles with 60 fire stations. I would like to give you a little overview of the calls that we ran. In 2020, the Phoenix Fire Department responded to 223,075 incidents. Of those incidents, 192,256, or 86% of the calls were medical in nature. Those nearly 200,000 calls were documented on a paper triplicate form that has been in use for 3 decades now. Being on paper form has created many challenges for the fire department. The current challenges with the process are a limited space for documentation. The predefined areas on the form are not adequate for the calls and incidents that the fire department runs. A lack of consistency in documentation. These are handwritten documents, so it lacks some consistent verbiage as well as some of the times and everything else that is built in. Data collection is limited. With upwards of 200,000 documents, it is not possible to properly extract data manually in order to report that out. So the reporting deficiencies, as leads into the data collection problem, is that being a manual process and the amount of paper that we have to go through, we cannot report out in a timely manner on a consistent basis what it is and what the community looks like as far as their health risk assessments. Records retention requirements create an issue. Records at a minimum need to be kept 7 years, and depending on the patient's age, it could be upwards of 20 years. So with nearly 200,000 documents every year, this becomes a problem for records requests as well as just the physical space required to hold those. There's multiple forms needed on an incident. There's potentially 4 forms that will be attached to one patient care reporting. These are a patient encounter form, a transport form if they're transported to the hospital by ambulance, EKG form, as well as an addendum or a supplemental. And lastly, there's billing inefficiencies. The fire department runs their own ambulance service. We have an issue with being a manual process and being paper. These have to be manually entered into our system in order to process. And what I'd like to currently show you, this is just a visual representation of our current process. Before anyone asks any questions, these are not real charts. These are made for this presentation only. But as you can see, there's the small predefined areas. It's all handwritten. The one on the left is the encounter form that gets filled out for every medical incident that we respond to. So that's the nearly 200,000 of those alone. And the one on the right is the current transport ticket. So if a patient is transported to the hospital via ambulance, this form will follow them as well. What I'm excited to show next is what the Star West, our vendor, as well as the project team for EPCR have been working on. What you're seeing here is going to help us create consistent documentation. On the screen, there's the buttons there that have some predefined, these are predefined incidents that the fire department runs that are medical in nature. So at the top left, you'll see the chest pain there. Depending on what call type you're on, you select that. And then based on that is going to depend on which fields are required then for the EMT or the paramedic to fill out. This is what creates some of that consistency, and it's not handwritten anymore, as well as there's predefined phrases and verbiage that are built into the system. The consistency also comes in on the top left. You can kind of hard to see on the document there, but the incident and times, those are populated by our CAD system to make sure that they are accurate. And lastly, the red exclamation points that you see on the left side of that screen there create some consistency because those represent fields that are not completed at that time. So as before in that paper chart, it's easy to go over because there's little small spaces, so if something was forgotten about, there was nothing to let you know that. Now within this new electronic system, we have these red exclamations that also allow the chart taker to know that there's an area of deficiency so they can go back and finish. Now what we've never had before on a paper chart is built-in resources. This is something that the fire department's really excited about, given our diverse community. One of the things I'd like to point out in the top right is a microphone there. That is a translate feature that is built into the application itself. It translates up to 20 different languages, allowing us to better communicate with our patients. What you're seeing in the middle of the screen there is the medications. A lot of times with medications, there's a lot of them, and it's hard to be able to spell all of them. So now this is all built into the system, and if one is not there, it can be manually entered. What also happens within this system is that when there's two medications that'll have some sort of interaction, the system identifies that and lets you know to be aware of those. And as well as you can see the little blue icon in the middle of the screen there, that is information about that medication. So that the chart taker can pull that up if there's any sort of questions as to what that is. And lastly, for the resources, every EMT and paramedic follows certain standing guidelines that are driven by the state and our own medical director. And now with having this electronic form, we're able to have all of our protocols and standing guidelines at our fingertips, which was previously unavailable to us. Data collection and reporting capabilities. This is something that the Phoenix Fire Department strive to do and become better at reporting capabilities. I would like to be able to provide all the council members an insight into what their council districts look like as far as their health assessment. And we'll be able to do that within hours now, because now this will be a central repository. Everything you see on the screen there, any sort of field can be queried, and we can generate a report out of that. There are also reports that are just built into the system that we can report out as well. This is going to lead into all the other agencies around the valley also report into the state system, and Phoenix is now going to be a participant in that system. And being a participant in that system is going to help drive some of the guidelines and the treatments that are then handed down from the state for EMTs and paramedics. Next, I'd like to point out some custom data elements. Being in a printed form previously, we're not able to adapt to some of the changes of the community. But you can see on the screen, these are some COVID-19 questions. When things like this come up with a print form, these would have to go to a reprint, which really isn't realistic for that. Now we can do that on the fly. These can be, custom data elements can be built into the system. So right now we could get a good snapshot as to what COVID-19, the frequency of that within certain council districts, if that's the information that is asked of us. This has also played a part into, previously the state has asked for opioid reporting. And this was something that was not an easy task for the fire department because of the paper forms that we had. It required the people to go back to the station and be able to fill out an online form after the call was completed. And now we have the billing efficiencies are built in. As said before, you saw the chart that was up there that created a problem with manual process, and sometimes there's a lack of completeness with some of the forms, so they would have to go back and then get those manually filled out. Now this lets the system automatically populates into our billing software, which cuts down our turnaround times for getting bills out, as well as it increases our efficiency and cuts down on any sort of problems that might have come up. And lastly, I want to go over a summary of benefits for this EPCR and the project itself. As I said before, the consistent documentation, because of those pre-populated fields and the drop-down boxes, are going to allow for the consistent documentation. The improved service delivery with some of the built-in resources we have, we're better able to communicate with our patients. Increased accountability. This is because now we have some of those built-in elements that let you know when things are missing within that chart. And improved continuous quality improvement. The way this has been traditionally done, this is based kind of after the fact. We're going to be able to do a more proactive approach and pull random charts that are filled out, and that way we can make sure that our service is up to the standards of our medical director. And improved data collection and analysis. This is going to allow us then to report out to the state so we can help drive some of those guidelines, as well as a piece of this that I kind of neglected to talk about was, and it goes back to the accountability. If there's deficiency reports, those get also generated and sent to the supervisors of those chart takers so they can make sure that those are addressed in a timely manner. And lastly, we're going to be able to better understand the health risks within our communities. Now with the data collection analysis, we can break down and benchmark ourselves with our treatments to make sure that they are being effective, and then we can adapt to the change and ever needs of the community. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to firefighter paramedic Garrett Schoenborn to give a little update on the project.
Thank you, Captain Worrell. My name is Garrett Schoenborn. part of the integration team for pushing out the EPCR program to the field, along with the training and the flow of how the EPCR runs and how we run our calls with our integration with the public. So to give you an update on where we are with the project, all the hardware has been purchased. That's over 200 iPads and chargers that have been installed into protective cases, as well as chargers being mounted onto every apparatus. So the device will actually mount to a magnetic attachment device inside the rig and charge while it's on there. And at the same time, we're doing a field integration with that, where an install team is going out to the field and installing the chargers on the apparatus to minimize out of service time so we can continue to provide service to the public. The configuration is complete. This is the flow of how we run our call. Captain Worrell put a picture of what the paper chart looks like. There's a method to how we have an interaction with a patient, from, hello sir, what's going on? Okay, I'm having chest pain, name, age, what's your name, age, date of birth, and so on. That flow is critical to the members in the field, to the firefighters, so that way they're able to have a minimal change in how they run their calls on a day-to-day basis. So the configuration has been completed to minimize that transition, to minimize the learning curve to our members. The training being conducted, this has been broken down into 3 phases. Phase 1 was a mandatory video that every member in the field had to watch. This gave them a full top-to-bottom rundown of how to run a call on the Zoe EPCR platform. Phase 2 is currently going on right now. This is a one-on-one style where super users or trainers go out to stations and do one-on-one training with COVID precautions in place to let the members get first-round hands-on with the device. Run practice calls, ask questions, how would I do this scenario or that scenario. Phase 3 is going to be a battalion training style where the engines and ladders and all the apparatus in the field will go to a battalion office and do another round of hands-on training to update themselves on, okay, what have you still not been able to figure out on the device so far? How do I do this scenario versus that scenario? And at the same time, we have also initiated a skills lab run out of our EMS division. They are doing 2 days a week that's open throughout this entire training period, where any member from the field can come down on their own time and get more sets and reps. So basically just an entire goal of trying to get as many opportunities of hands-on for the members in the field to make the transition more smooth for Go Live. Our Go Live date is scheduled for mid-May, and to further the point that Captain Worrell was making of how monumental of an occasion this is for us, for the last 30 years, we've been doing documentation on the forms that Captain Worrell showed you a moment ago. So for the last 30 years, it's been nothing but paper, and in one day, we're going to flip a switch, and then there will be no more paper. So one shift coming off, let's say B shift is coming off at 0800 in the morning, C shift would begin, and then that would be the flip of the switch, and from then on, we'll be working on the EPCR Zoe. And with all those items that I listed, I'm happy to report to you that the project is on time and on budget, and that's all I have for you, and I'm going to turn it back over to Chief Walker.
Chairman, this does conclude our presentation. We would be happy to answer any questions you or any other members of the subcommittee might have for us.
No, absolutely. We have 7 cards on. Councilmember Betty, I'm not sure if you want to listen to the cards first or you want to ask the question.
Yeah, no, let's listen to the cards first. I can't wait.
Alrighty. So Matt, if you want to go ahead and continue with the cards, that'd be great.
Chairman Nowakowski, before Matt calls the name, I just want to reiterate to our callers that if you are calling in on item 3, please let Matt know and we can have you speak to that. If you do want to have your comments held to the end to speak on general public comments, please let him know that. It'll be more efficient for you as well as for the council members and staff.
And our first speaker signed up for this item is Russell Facente. Russell, are you on the line?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Were you wishing to speak on this fire department item?
Yes, I am.
Please proceed.
Thank you. So, I believe that this, the EPCR is necessary and will save lives, but I'm speaking today. My concern is with the budgeting and financing of this system. It's obviously an expensive system to implement, maintain, and train. And although they said that they're on budget, my concern is where that budget is coming from. And to me, there's only one responsible way to pay for this. First, we need to fire all of the neo-Nazi challenge coin officers and take
Please
away
keep your
the budget
comments
that
directed
is
to
on
this
military
item.
weapons. The taxpayers are
We can move you to the end of the meeting if you would like. Our next speaker signed up for this item is Jisoo Kim. Jisoo, are you on the line?
Yes, hello.
Yes, were you wishing to speak on this fire department item?
Yes.
Please proceed.
So I thought that was a great presentation. I totally agree that improving our healthcare system in its various aspects is of utmost importance. No doubt about that. Cleaning up data, not using handwritten notes all the time. I totally agree. I work in data myself. That's what I do in my day job too. But speaking of labor, I have to call out the long-standing cultural tendency to put firefighters, healthcare workers, and police all on the same level. Doesn't really make sense to me to have put this item on the agenda for public safety and justice when we have so many other pressing concerns like the ABC 15 investigation.
Please keep your
also
comments to this agendized item, or we can move to the end of the meeting. Our next speaker is Tina Luna. Tina, I believe you were signed up to speak at the end of the meeting.
I'd like to speak on this item also.
Okay, please proceed.
Thank you. I agree with the other callers. I think this is a very important issue, but I think funding is really at the heart of the matter. If we defund the racist, white supremacist police, we should be able to fund this program in the fullest.
Our next speaker is Rin Orr. Rin, are you on the line? It does not appear as though they are on the line. Our next speaker is Kelly Kwok. Kelly, are you on the line? It does not appear as if Kelly is on the line. Our next speaker is Calixta Velasquez. Calixta, are you on the line?
On the line. I am on the line.
Were you wishing to speak on this? I think you may need to turn down the volume.
Did that work at all?
I believe so. Were you wishing to speak on this fire department item or to be moved to public comment at the end of the meeting?
I would like to be moved to public comment.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Lucy Liu. Lucy, are you on the line? I believe, Chairman, that was the last speaker registered for this item.
Thank you, Matt. I believe Council Member Betty would like to speak. It's all yours.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. So first of all, I just want to say thank you for a great presentation. Thank you, Assistant Chief Scott Walker, for all of your work on this and for everyone's work on this. But I just had one question. You guys spoke about being able to do opioid reports, and in our district that has been a big issue and something that we've been dealing with for a minute. Can you guys expand a little bit on how you guys would do that reporting and how that would work and how we could get those reports by district?
Chairman Nowakowski and Councilmember Guardado, thank you for the question. So, like Captain World showed you, the one field we had created a demonstration on the COVID-19 current pandemic. We could create a very similar field on an incident we may ran on that would identify it as an opioid or potential opioid type call. And then whatever the fields, for example, that we want to create, we can create based on the information maybe you or the other council members are asking for. And then that could become a standard report report that could be ran and then provide that information as we, work to really move to providing that data to the council members and the mayor, what's going on in the city that could be part of that. Currently, the process, as Captain Worrell mentioned, it's something we do with the state, but it's a very manual process. Our firefighters have to go back to the station, have to enter into a form, and it reports up to the state. But it's very limited in our ability to query that data and then really provide you that information. So the opioid issue, COVID, or any other future issues that we might experience or you're experiencing even specifically, potentially in your district, a field could be created based around the parameters that we're looking to identify, and then a report can be generated out of that. And that's how we could do that for you with any of the members of the council.
So you're saying that, like, I can tell you, we could do it, so we can pick a specific area in the district and say, I would like to see a report on this specific area, and you guys would be able to provide that?
In theory, yes, we could basically make that your district, the city, or a smaller area. We could do that if we see, our whole goal is to identify trends and potentially negative trends so we can have a positive impact on those trends. So if we were having an area that you're familiar with or we see or we identify, then we could narrow that down, and then efforts could be put into place, from the city's citywide collaborative approach to try to impact those in a positive way. But yes, it could be narrow to large.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for that, and looking forward to working with you guys and trying to figure out different issues in the district that are important to our constituents, and citywide, many things that we're starting to deal with. COVID being the number one, but then all these other issues are incredibly important. So thank you so much for everything you guys do. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. And Chief, thank you. And thank you for these innovative ways of saving people's lives by collecting data and having that data right at the tip of your fingers with the patient. So thank you so much. And with that, we'll go to item number 4, that was withdrawal. And we're into call to the public.
Thank you, Chairman. Our first speaker, if she is on the line, would be Elizabeth Venable. Just a moment. I'm sorry, she is not on the line. Our next speaker is Tina Luna. Tina, are you on
Yes,
the line?
Yes, I am online. Thank you for giving me some time. When is the council, sorry, I'm so upset by this. And cutting off Carlos and not letting him ask questions. It's like, what is this forum for if it's not to share ideas and try to improve everyone's lives? But what I wanted to specifically comment on was, if the city really believes that the conduct of these officers is unacceptable, and then what are they going to do? What are you folks going to do as Public Safety and Justice Committee to remedy the harm that these officers are causing? They're seeking felony gang charges against protesters. These are young people that are just fighting for their lives because the Phoenix Police Department is the deadliest in the nation. And they're fighting for their lives. Felony charges, something that will affect their whole lives. It's so unjust. It's just a travesty. And the false empathy from the city officials is really annoying. They are just talking, oh, we're concerned, and that's not what they are. We don't accept hate. The Phoenix Police Department is all about hate. And we're not going to let this go. We're not going to shut up. And you will hear us. And we want all of the charges dropped against all of our brothers and sisters that have been charged with these trumped up gang charges. And that
Our next speaker is Marcus Reed. Marcus, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm on the line. Can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Yeah, so, the spirit of my call is to particularly call out people like Councilman Michael Nowakowski. Just really disappointed, just as someone that would call himself a Christian, but just continually see the Phoenix police just trump up bullcrap charges on people, build challenge coins to show that they're happy with their racism, and for him to not do anything about it. Ball's been in his court a couple of times to get things changed in the city of Phoenix, and the legacy that I feel like he's leaving behind is very embarrassing and disgusting. To see him standing one day in front of a street sign trying to commemorate a Black life, and then just watch the Phoenix police just trounce all over Black lives is the biggest bit of hypocrisy that I've ever seen in my entire life. Like the previous caller said, I'm not going to let you guys off the hook from all this stuff that's going on with the Phoenix police. And, whether it be the ballot box or whether it be just here at every single meeting to make sure that things change, you continually hear from me. I yield the rest of my time.
I believe Vanessa DiCarlo was able to connect. Vanessa, are you on the line?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
You know you have a problem when a TV network needs an entire series to cover all of the corruption, because there is so much police corruption and abuse that it won't fit into a single TV segment. However, we have plenty of time to talk about barking dog ordinances. Absolutely unacceptable and absurd. And think about it, this is just what we know, or rather, this is what you knew, and the public is now learning. The public can view video, audio evidence that shows that the Brady List officers' bad behavior never ended and is still going on. And they're continuing their violence, targeting and arresting protesters. Many of the same officers who targeted protesters also made souvenirs, served in leadership positions, and assessed gang charges. So the people who are supposed to be the most knowledgeable about gangs are literally relishing in violence, keeping souvenirs which only serve to relive the memory of their violence and dehumanize protesters they are targeting. It is seriously demented that you are allowing protesters to be targeted by a gang of neo-Nazi police, or as I call them now, regular police. And the independent investigation, I knew it was a problem when you could practically feel the glee seeping from police social media posts, and I knew there would be neither independent nor investigative measures. Rather, this second faux investigation, because you already did one, will be conducted by a law firm that has been contracted and serving the city of Phoenix for a variety of needs, including labor contracts, presumably for the city and police unions, as well as statewide legislative lobbying for public safety and criminal justice for the city of Phoenix. The response of the city of Phoenix could be summarized as improper, unethical, corrupt. Unlike other issues, this won't be swept under the rug. The question is, what will you do, council members, with this information? Your officers, your Brady List boys, are on tape actively learning to stand, repeating.
Our next speaker, if he remained on the line, was Benjamin Lewis. Benjamin, are you on the line?
I am on the line. Can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Just to kind of riff off what the last neighbor was saying, this national news just picks off of local news, and it's a juicy story. It's going to be in the Times next week. We're just here talking to you about it now because it's something that needs to be fixed. And after hearing Phoenix Fire talk about all the amazing things that they're going to be able to do by adopting Google Sheets, it's frustratingly and glaringly obvious how simple tracking would make our citizens safer and our police officers more accountable for their actions. I don't think anyone can argue against having a police force that follows the same rules as everyone else. And the gist of what we are asking for right here is that simple next step. With this in mind, I have a few simple yes or no questions I would like to ask council members. Recognize that I was cut off when I was legally allowed to do this, and I don't even think they're still here listening. So first, do you mind that we have 100 officers who are on the Brady list? Second, what do you think is an appropriate ratio of employment for peace officers who have previously violated their oath, been caught, and charged? Right now, it's 3.5%. That seems high. Third, do you have a way to flag or filter statements made by cops who have already been identified as dishonest in past charges? Seems like that would be a simple, easy thing to do. 4, are you aware that the charges brought against protesters have been based entirely on the testimony from cops who are on the Brady list, breaking rules, misdirection, and lies? 5th, do you have power as a city council member to bring about change, or have you discovered that being in this role is mostly ceremonial? And 6, I am very disappointed that council chair feels it is appropriate to cut off another council member. We are here trying to be heard, and you won't even let our elected official speak. Council is our only representation in this chamber. So the question is Phoenix a democracy or isn't it? And I would love to hear back from anyone who's still listening.
Our next speaker is Phil Martinez.
Yes, ma'am. I am on the line.
Please
My name is Phil
proceed.
Martinez. I'm a resident. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. My name is Phil Martinez, and I'm a resident of Phoenix, Arizona. And I cannot believe that we are sitting here talking about barking dogs and thinking about making it easier to report people who have barking dogs than it is than to report police officers who are terrorizing our neighborhoods. A lot is being said about this coin, but nothing is being said about the man who is behind the leadership of this coin, Benjamin Moore, who was caught. Craig Biscayne showed that this man received an email that specifically stated that they wanted to dip a coin, protect us, interrupt us, which is a violation of every single person's rights. Oh, and you guys sit here and you guys are okay with it. You know what? If I worked that close with racists, I would know. So I'm not going to sit here and let you guys tell other people what is wrong. Carlos, I commend you for standing up for what is right. Every other person on that council, you all voted, gave those persons a speech, and you guys gave them a right. And you guys all gave them money last week for beating up protesters. So it's ridiculous that you guys are sitting here talking about dogs instead of talking about what's really serious in this country, in this city. We are leading the country in police deaths, and you guys are to blame for it. We have told you guys over and over again, the change needs to happen. Carlos, I hope you stay, but everybody else, Betty, I was so disgusted. I have respected you very much, ma'am, but you voted to give them their riot pay. You should have stood fast, because not even days later did you find out that same unit received that pay, and the officer went and took that pay and went to Hawaii on vacation, and you guys are behind it. So you guys need to stop.
Our next speaker is Helen Mendizabal. Helen, are you on the line?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Hi, City Council. I just wanted to make my voice heard. I really feel an independent investigation is not enough to remedy the depth and deceit that is in the violence within Phoenix Police Department. There's enough evidence right now to disqualify every police report and every piece of testimony that came from that tactical squad. The cops that are still assigned to protest are lying in an attempt to silence and dissent against them. Use your power and that office affords you, and do your job. Please demand that all charges are dropped, and end this political prosecution now. I can't believe we're talking here about barking dogs instead of the racism that's being upheld in Phoenix Police Department. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Malik Shabazz. Malik, are you on the line?
In In 2006, the FBI warned of white supremacy within American police departments. The articles are a Google search away. 100 years ago, the American white man used to put on a white sheet and use a bloodhound against Negroes. Today, they have taken off the white sheet and put on police uniforms and traded in the bloodhounds for bullets. And they're still doing the same thing. All of the human rights problems during this country's history have created a situation where America right now is moving toward a police state. And those same police, an organization originally created to hunt down escaped slaves and protect ruling class capital, have been infiltrated by Nazis and other white supremacists. Now, finally, our city, the 10th most diverse city in the country, is home to those who reside within it. Now, we elected you to run this house. And if a person is not ready to clean their house up, they shouldn't have a house. It should catch on fire and burn down.
Our next speaker is Michelle Mayer. Michelle, are you on the line? Michelle, are you on the line? It looks as though we may not have audio for Michelle. Our next speaker is Avery McGinnis. Avery, are you on the line? I'm sorry, it looks as though Michelle may have been able to connect.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, Michelle.
Yes, I'm here.
Please
Yes, I'm
proceed.
here. Thank you. As I stated before, the Committee of Public Safety and Justice, really needs to be addressing and having meaningful discussions with each other and with your constituents who have elected you to this position. You need to involve the community you serve and hold Phoenix police accountable with the independent review boards, not with other cops. Hold them accountable for their atrocities, which have been recently been made even more public via the ABC politically charged news special. The charges need to be dropped against these people who are exercising their First Amendment rights. Repercussions for the officers who are lying under oath need to be implemented. And where is the accountability? Because we haven't seen any. My question to you is, are you here just as a group of yes men, or are you here to serve the people of your city? This is not politics. This is ethics, and you need to reevaluate your approach to both. The future of our city is on the line, and we must ensure the justice of public safety. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Avery McGinnis. Avery, are you on the line? I'm sorry, it appears that Avery is not on the line. Our next speaker is Katie Gibson. Katie, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Please proceed.
Those protesters were bleep heads who should have been arrested a long time ago. The officers were so sick of this mess, and the public is sick of it too. Those protesters were a bunch of a-hole kids. We should have stomped on the protesters when they were leaving, stomp on them right away. I don't give an F if we just gas them and let them run like crazy. Just Mark 9 them and gas them and be done with this mess. That's not how I feel. That's the words straight from officers' mouths who are directly involved in arresting protesters in the city of Phoenix. My name is Katie Gibson McLean. I grew up in East Phoenix in District 8, and I'm still a District 8 resident. I served on the Ad Hoc Implementation and Review Committee, and I also served on committees in District 8 to develop and create OAT in the CRB, which has now been desecrated. It's ridiculous that we are here talking about barking dogs when I sat on a committee for months and was laughed at for requesting an efficiency study of a department who thinks that there's no way they're getting anything wasted or that there's anything wrong with their department, and listen to retired officers complain about any recommendations we could possibly make for improvement. It's ridiculous. Mr. Novakowski, this is the sad legacy you're leaving behind, and it's probably good. It's probably good that you just get to sit there without your camera on and not have to face people, because that's how sad you are and this is. To everyone else, you should probably turn your camera on when there's a public meeting. You can't just hide in an in-person meeting. So I would recommend moving forward, if you don't want to look like a coward, to probably turn your camera on. Why do we need a grenadier department in the Phoenix Police Department? This is not the military. We do not need grenadiers. We also do not need inside law firms to investigate.
Our next speaker is Estrelita Alvarado. Is Estrelita on the line? I'm sorry, she's not on the line. Our next speaker is Anisha Groves. Anisha, are you on the line?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Thank you. Thank you. How dare you cut us off when you are the ones off topic? It's pathetic that we just sat through this noisy dog presentation and other administrative BS after the comments you heard earlier. How dare you put procedure above the safety of your constituents? How dare you shove us to the end of the meeting and leave the meeting and ignore us? I demand that every council member be sat down to listen to all of the general comments being recorded right now if they give a damn about procedure at all. How dare you, Nowakowski, silence your own elected colleague when he wants to respond to his constituents? Mainstream media news reports have made it glaringly obvious that it's true what Black and brown people have been telling you over and over again for years, that Phoenix PD is a neo-Nazi gang. I'm sure you'll stick to your reformist rhetoric and say these neo-Nazis are a few bad apples that must be rooted out because you don't allow this sort of thing. That's ridiculous and you know it. It should be so obvious that the police department and the county attorney's office who collude with them are inherently white supremacists through and through. How else could these cops have been allowed to keep their jobs this long unless everyone in the department is complicit, and you are all complicit? Because you've chosen to ignore what you've been saying over and over. You keep giving them money, you keep letting them expand this anti-Black killing machine, and now it is blowing up in your face. It's just a matter of time before the political prosecutions and the challenge coins gain full national attention, and you know it. If you can't come around to believing us and giving a damn, then at least you can be politically expedient. Demand publicly, loudly, and repeatedly that the county attorney drop all charges against protesters speaking out against police brutality, and you must do this as many times as it takes for this demand to be met. Stop messing around with saying you need to support the chief in dealing with this problem. You deal with it. The blood and the lives ruined by decades of incarceration and felony records are 100% on your hands because you have the power to stop all of this. Publicly demand all these charges to drop now and until they all get dropped.
Our next speaker is Jisoo Kim. Jisoo, are you on the line? Our next speaker is Rin Orr. Rin, are you on the line? Kelly Kwok. Kelly, are you on the line? Calixita Velasquez, are you on the line?
I am on the line. Hi, my name is Cal. I'm a mother from Phoenix, born and raised. I'm a student. I work 6 days a week sometimes. And I'm also facing felony charges, and I'm tired because of really everything that's going on. I'm currently trying to figure out how in the hell I got beat to shit on a sidewalk by neo-Nazi cops carrying neo-Nazi tokens. The world doesn't make sense, but then again, it's not that surprising, I suppose. Everybody else has already chewed you out for keeping this entire corrupt system going, and I just want to applaud you for upholding it, because what you're doing is working. I mean, you're silencing people. You've almost silenced me, but you won't, I guess, because I'm here, and so are so many members of my community, which, if anybody's still listening, thank you. But I just want to say, everybody sees what's going on, and I hope to shit everybody pays for it, and that's it.
And I believe our last speaker was Lucy Liu, if she's on the line. Chairman, that was our last speaker then.
Councilman Garcia.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'd hope that my colleagues all watch the ABC reporting that folks are talking about. I think it's something like I've never seen before. Heard some of the comments, and I want to thank everyone who waited and spent this morning and registered yesterday and took their time to comment here. Obviously, this is an appetite that people have to have this conversation. It's important. It's monumental. We had a line of questioning a few meetings ago around protest. We had an agenda on item, and as District 8, we asked questions about the prosecutions, about the involvement of our officers, and I feel deceived. I asked a lot of questions in the social media get used. Are we participating or actively encouraging these gang prosecutions? And I was told we weren't. And then I turn on ABC 15 and I literally hear an officer, one that's been with the Phoenix Police Department for over 20 years, who's a gang specialist, who actually is the head of our community action officers in South Phoenix, make up a gang with ACAB and then compare it to the Bloods and Crips in order to keep someone who was literally observing the First Amendment, who was doing their practicing their rights, in order to prevent that person from getting bond. We've, numerous meetings we've talked about how these prosecutions are wrong and that the county attorney needs to drop it. And I understand it's out of our hands now, but it wouldn't be in the county attorney's hands without our police department. And without a unit.
Councilman Garcia, I hate to interrupt you, but this is not a formal agenda item, so these were public comments. So
I know, and I'm making my comment before I ask for a future agenda item. Well, I've already waited till the end of this meeting. Again, I'm an elected representative. I asked for time at the beginning. I respectfully took your and the chairman's advice. I'm now making my comments so that I could request certain things for the next agenda.
And all I'm asking you to do, Councilman, is wait until Councilman or Chairman Nowakowski asks for the future agenda items. We haven't gotten to that portion of the meeting yet. I think he's asking now just for open comment.
So, Councilman Garcia, I'll open it up to future agenda items.
Can I speak? Thank you. So I was saying, this same department that's testifying against people who are observing the First Amendment right is now found to have had a coin. There's two sides to this coin. One is obviously to chill people's First Amendment right, to do what they're doing, to reward each other for hurting our residents of Phoenix. And then the other part is the Nazi symbolism. They're literally handing around a coin with Nazi symbolism at the same time that our Jewish mayor's life is being threatened by one of our officers, which we allowed that officer to retire. We didn't even fire him. And so that leads me to my next thing is, what do we do with the Brady list? What happens to the officer that charged, that said that he killed the mayor? What happens to these officers that are now outed by a news network? So the things I want for the next council meeting is, I want to know from PSB what they found or didn't find and why they thought this coin was okay and there's nothing wrong. Because my understanding, there was an investigation. It's one thing. I also want to know what accountability looks like for these officers who lie and make things up in order to prosecute other people. And so, for clear, I want to know what it is, or who supervises, or what the process is when officers are testifying against people or being used as expert witness while they're Phoenix police employees. I want to know more about this protest unit, the Grenadier unit, where the coin was being exchanged. This unit should be dismantled. It should be completely paused. This is literally a unit that's only brought out during political altercations. And it's a unit that was handing out coins for hurting people. Instead of protecting and serving them, instead of protecting and serving for their First Amendment right, they were rewarding each other for being violent towards the people they're paid to protect and serve. And the final thing is I want a full explanation. And the chief had some trouble with this, but I would like to have a conversation about the Brady list. What does it mean to us? And how do we put people on it? How do we use it to either, so one of the things I want to know from it is if someone's on the Brady list, you know, are they allowed to represent us in courts or other places? And so again, really quickly, what happened with the coin? Why did we think it was okay? What does accountability or process look like when our officers are testifying and lying under oath in the court or making things up? More explanation on this Grenadier unit and why it hasn't been dismantled after we found this coin and what they're doing. And the last thing, a further discussion on the Brady list. Thank you, Chairman.
Chairman, I think you may be muted.
Sorry about that, Councilmember Betty.
Thank you. So I would like to take a moment to thank the military veteran that called in, and thank you for your service. The coins you earned are a testament to your service and commitment to our community. They are a far cry from those we have seen brought to light. With that being said, I would like to add to the agenda for next week to have staff give us a report on the ABC 15 investigation of neo-Nazi references on the challenge cone they have uncovered. Also, at the last subcommittee, I spoke on urging the county attorney's office to reevaluate their position on charging the 18 individual protesters as gang members. Since that time, ABC 15 has uncovered additional findings on these unsustained charges that I think are important to take into consideration and that I would like staff to present in a report to this subcommittee. With pending legal charges and litigation, I understand that there may be things we are not able to hear about publicly, but I would like staff to provide this subcommittee with an update on these two items. Is that clear enough?
Chairman Nowakowski, members of the subcommittee, I hear your request, but again, this is an outstanding and ongoing investigation, so our ability to comment on that investigation will be extremely limited until the investigation has come to a close.
Yeah, Jeff, I understand that, but whatever information can be given to us, I think there's a cry from the community saying, that they want to hear more from us. And I understand that there are certain things that cannot be disclosed, but whatever can be disclosed, I think that we should have a report about it in at the next meeting.
Chairman Nowakowski, members of the council, we will circle back to our law department to see where we can share and what we can share. But again, I'm not thinking that there's going to be much that we can share at this point in time until that investigation comes to a close, especially considering that there are other matters attached to that investigation that are also being investigated. But we will circle back.
Great, thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Garcia, then Williams, sorry.
Thank you. Jeff, we understand the investigation. I wish we would have talked about who's investigating, because who we're asking to investigate is a legal shop that we already hold on retainer. And so if you say they can't talk about what they're investigating, can we talk about what PSB found and didn't find? And with this law firm, I'd be great for them to come and understand what it is they're going to investigate. And I also want to know from staff, what tools are we giving them? Are they able to interview the officers? What information are they going to be able to gather? We need to know that in order to trust and believe that this investigation is independent and real. We are already getting hit by the media and community that it's ridiculous that we're asking attorneys that we hold already, that we're paying already, to investigate something within our department, obviously admitting that our PSB, our internal affairs, are not doing a good job. But then also, what gives us assurance that this investigation is going to be worth it, or is going to give anything different than what PSB gave? And so, yeah, if we can't have obviously detailed conversations, I would want to know what powers this investigators are going to have, this law firm that we put on this task, and what that investigation is going to look like. And also, you know, yeah, I want to have that conversation if we can't have detailed conversations about the investigation or whatever.
Thank you, Councilmember Garcia. Councilmember Williams.
Thank you. For a future agenda item, I agree with Councilman Garcia. I'm really interested in the Brady list. How do people get on the Brady list? Do they stay forever? Are there any consequences for being on the Brady list? I think there's a lot of confusion about it, and I would really like to have it fully explained and how it's used. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Williams. Any other future agenda items? And Jeff, thank you for taking over these meetings. I know that this is you're a new member of our committee, so welcome. And also, we'll try to figure out what we can say, what we can't say. And I agree with Councilmember Williams. It would be great to understand how you get onto the Brady list, and once you get onto the Brady list, what is the procedure? Are you on it forever, or is it a short period of time? We need to get more information on that. And with the whole coin, if you all can walk us through what the procedure is, what's going on right now, where is it at, and maybe not talk about the investigation, but the stages that it's at, and where we as council members or the community can have more input into that process. Any other questions or concerns? With that, meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chairman.